A little over 2,000 years ago, a woman who had a perpetual period sought out Jesus. And this was unbelievably awful for her. Not only was she weak and anemic, but she was perpetually unclean, which meant that she was expected to quarantine herself in perpetuity from everybody else. She had been to countless doctors, spent all of her money on these doctors to no avail. She heard about this guy who had been traveling around, teaching out, hanging out with sinners, and healing people. And she thought, this is my last and only hope. She said to herself, if only I could touch the hem of his robes, I'd be okay. And she did, and she was. And Jesus, sensing that this had happened, asked for her, found her in this massive crowd of people, and said, your faith has made you well. What did he mean? How does that even work? How faith can heal you today on Mastering Mortality. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Mastering Mortality's News You Can Use, where we work hard to help you make the most of each moment. So I'm a pretty rational, scientific guy with a huge suspicion of what's most often called the spiritual gifts. I'm extremely skeptical of speaking in tongues, getting slain in the spirit, and faith healers. But I have to share with you what happened to me last week. I was visiting with one of my hospice patients with our hospice nurse. A nurse from the nursing home found us and said, could you come see this other patient? She's uncomfortable and so restless. I don't know what to do. I'm about to cry. So Kim and I go. Our patient is as restless and uncomfortable as I've seen anyone be. She's constantly moving, uncontrollable muscle spasms, frowning, clearly in pain. So while the two nurses consult and talk to each other, I sat down and started singing hymns to her, knowing that she had been a pastor's wife and that she loved these hymns. Within 2 or 3 hymns, she went from here to completely relaxed and asleep. No meds, no physical interventions, just the hymns that she loved. Now, I'm an okay singer, but I'm no Luther Vandross, so it wasn't my beautiful voice, nor anything I did. These songs tapped a deep well of her spirituality that took her from extreme discomfort to complete peace. Her faith made her well. I was just a conduit into helping her tap into her spirituality. I've seen this happen a number of times in my life. I ran into a church member after I had left her church who told me, Pastor Tom, I have to let you know, when you were preaching last Easter, I heard God tell me, you are my beloved daughter. There's nothing that can happen to you or has happened to you or that could ever happen to you that could ever change that. It healed me of chronic deep depression I've had since I was a teenager. And again, that's not me. It wasn't my amazing preaching. I was just a conduit for her hearing God speak to her. Her faith made her well. I was sitting with another patient who told me how her mom used to read her the Bible every night. So when I told her Psalm 23, she visibly relaxed. These are examples of how I have seen investments in spirituality, how it can pay huge dividends. It's not about doing the right thing or that anybody has any obligation to pray or to read the Bible or whatever your spiritual books might be. I hear people say that they go to church because that's the way that they were brought up and they want to go to heaven. Like any of us can buy a stairway to heaven. No! Our spirituality and our relationship with God or the divine or however you define it really is like any other relationship in our lives. When we feed it, we can receive it, and it can make a big difference, just like our family and spouses and friends. Our spirituality, our faith can even make us well. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I am profoundly grateful as this serves my purpose. If you liked it and you think it's worthy, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and share it. It'll help my channel grow. You can also go to my website, www.tomboomershine.com, and sign up for my email list, and I'll send you notifications of all that I have to offer you. I'm Tom Boomershine with Mastering Mortality. Until I see you again, peace.